Hey guys, it's HeySofia and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing episode 2 of my single multiplayer series. So if you remember last episode, we built this very cute little dirt house. Now basically a second after finishing up the filming, I died from a creeper, so I had to walk all the way back here. It was like 3,000 blocks away, so I did kill a couple of sheep on the way just to make a bed, so if that happened again, I'm not going to be respawning far away. And ironically, there was another creeper when I got back here, so I killed it and I ended up getting a creeper head. So that will be really good. We can use that later on for decorations when we're starting to do more houses and stuff like that. But first, for today, we're going to start focusing on doing some terraforming for the village. I think it's really good when you're starting out to start with the foundations. There's no point in building houses if you haven't built roads, so I'm going to do just a few roads this episode and do some gardening around the roads just to start on them. There will be some things like podzol and stuff like that which I'll need silk touch for, so we'll focus on getting those a little bit later on, but we just want to build the foundations for now. So the first thing I need to do is grab some materials. So I'm going to try and find some iron ore because I need shears. I will need buckets. It's also good just to have some more tools so we're not running back and forth all the time, and torches. I know a lot of you said you want it more lit up, so I'm just going to make a few for now and place them in the cave, but also in the areas where I'll be filming, so it won't be as dark, but I do plan on continuing to try and place more and more. But something about the server that I play on that you might not know is that we have custom biomes. So on the P Nerd and U server and also the creative server, we do custom biomes. So you'll notice the biomes here aren't completely normal. There are also like automatic structures that do like form, like you might see some temples, or sometimes there'll be random like tiki poles or little houses or broken old castles, things like that. I should probably be using a shovel, but this will do for now. But you will notice that things might be a little bit different. We also spawned the rocks a little bit different, so you will actually see quartz blocks up in the overworld. They're very few and far in between though, so it's not like you have a great advantage if I want to get quartz. I'm still going to have to go to the nether for that, but we're just going to focus on now trying to get some coal. You also want iron ore. I'm going to also see if there's any andesite in this cave, and also gravel and cobblestone. Some of the cobblestone we will turn into stone though, because for my little river details for my terraforming, I want like a mix of stone to do that. You guys would have seen me do it in creative, so we're going to try and do the same in survival as well. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I think this is a pretty good cave system that we ironically have right next to the little starter area that we've done. So this will come really in handy. I think from the looks of it, like how big it is up here, it's probably going to go down quite deep. So we'll see how far it will go down. But we're just going to make sure we keep placing torches and going very slowly. I'm a bit of a baby when it comes to pee. I'm just overly cautious about mobs. Normally by this point I run into a creeper down here or a skeleton or something. I might be a little bit more lucky this time and not run into anything, but we'll see how I go. I know one of you guys mentioned that you didn't see any monsters. I do play on the server difficulty is on hard, so there are a lot of mobs spawning. There are a lot in the evening, which is why I try and film only in the daytime, just so I'm not dying and I can try and explain to you guys a little bit more about what I'm doing. I'm just grabbing some stone now to turn that into cobblestone, and here is andesite, which is good because we will need a lot of andesite. Now I just want to say thank you to all you guys for all the suggestions that you gave me. I was really thankful, so I do plan on trying to use a bit of everything in this village, so we'll see how we go. But I've just finished off the mining. I didn't see the point in showing you me just continuously grabbing everything, so we now have some materials. So we're going to start terraforming this area here. I think it's going to make a really good lake. So what we're going to do is just connect it to the natural already formed lake at the end, and we're also going to make a couple of waterfalls out of the tall structures. Now when I play survival, I try and use the things around me to make my gardening and stuff like that a bit easier. So this is like a ditch in the ground. It's got a sand for the base, which is perfect for a kind of like sandy, more oceanfront river. So this works really well in our favor. It also means we don't have to do any digging. We just need to do the details around it. So whenever you're wanting to do rivers or anything like that, always look for natural ditches that are already in the land. Oh, there's a zombie. Okay, so we're going to quickly kill this guy here. But yeah, you will probably see more creatures later on. I am going to be doing some night episodes just when you first start out. I don't know about you guys, but I try and stay inside during the evening just because it's a little bit easier to build the foundations and everything. Now, I do have some torches set up as well now, so I've got kind of this side of the river where my house is done a bit better, but I've still got to do the other side as well, so it'll be a little bit dark on that side, but I'll work on that after I finish filming. So I'm going to do just this side and then I'll do the other side by myself, but I'll be doing the exact same on the other side as this side. So what you want to do when you're building a river like this, I just like to remove the edge blocks like so, and then you just want to replace them with whatever blocks that you are going to be using. Now, I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be using stone, cobblestone, gravel, and also andesite for my blocks today. I just think they're a really nice natural mix. And you just want to randomly place it, like maybe 2 stone, 1 andesite here, maybe a gravel or a cobblestone. I haven't got any cobblestone though, so we'll go back and mine some in like a little bit, but we're going to now do our little river mouths. So I'm just making my little river connection now. So you want to try and make it look as natural as possible. So try and follow the flow that the area already has. So I try and make it not too ridgy, like 1 block, 1 block, 1 block, 1 block. You want maybe 1 block, then you want a 2 block width and then a 1 block width. You just want to make it look a little bit more natural and not so jagged and fake. I find that's what makes your terraforming look a lot better. So I'm just going to do some more blocks here, and I will go into detail a little bit later about doing the blocks out to the sea and how we're going to join it up, but I will be skipping most of the rest of doing the terraforming just around here again because it is really repetitive, but I'm going to try and show you guys as much details as possible without making this like an hour long. But how are you guys? How are you doing? Let me know down in the comments below. I know in America, I think you guys are starting your schooling again. We just finished my schooling in Australia, so I am done for the year for uni. So I'm not going back until March now, so hallelujah, I'm so happy. So I think I've passed all my stuff for this semester though, which is good. Now I am off to Japan on Saturday, so I would already be in Japan by the time this comes out. So if you do want to follow what I'm doing, down in the comments below in my, well, not in the comments, but in my channel description, I got the links to my Instagram, Twitter, and my Snapchat. So if you follow me on there, I'll be posting all the time while I'm in Japan. And then you'll also be able to see it anyway when I get back, when I'm doing my vlogging. But yeah, I'm so looking forward to it. I hope you guys will enjoy all the footage I'll be doing and the little vlogs I'll be making. I think it will be really fun and something different as well. It'll also be good practice for December time. Wink, wink, I do. If you can't remember, I did say that I have a lot of plans for December, so I'm going to be very busy once I get back from my holiday, but I'm looking forward to it. It'll be quite the challenge and I think it'll be quite fun. Okay, so now what you want to do once you have basically the base of the outside covered, you want to actually bring it in a little bit. So just in the little ditches where you've got a grass block kind of in between, you want to be placing a block like here. You can see there's a gap. You just want to be kind of bringing the rocks naturally out, if that kind of makes sense to you. You don't want like a perfect line around the river. You want it kind of like jagged and not perfect. It's even fine to put like a block probably about 3 blocks away from the rock because it looks natural. But you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just simply placing them like so. And then every now and then I'm also placing a above ground rock, and that just kind of looks like a natural rock around it. But I've finished all that off now, so we're just doing the end bit of the river. So all you want to do is completely fill it in like you were doing originally anyway when we were filming the mouth out to this river. And then I will simply put some like dirt on the outside or fill it in so it's not just this like very high rock wall and then just a drop and then sand. Again, you want to try and make it look natural, so you want to build out with the dirt. Luckily we've got a lot of dirt from doing our little house and all that kind of stuff, so we should be okay to fill that in. But I'm just making a little drop down now of the river because this one is 1 block higher than the natural water source. We're going to want to make a little like 1 block waterfall just to have that natural progression. But what I'm going to do now is just go back and forth with these buckets I made from doing that mining earlier. And the first thing we're going to do is make a little like spot here that we would do a waterfall. So I think here looks really good. There we go. And I'll also put another one down in here. Now when you do a waterfall, don't be afraid to have 2 sources for the water. Sometimes that can look more natural when you've got something really big and dramatic like this. So that's what I am going for today. Now I will probably skip past all this water filling because it is going to take me a little bit. Now we do have like griefing protections on the server, so at the moment the water is not moving, so I will get a moderator to get them flowing, but I will do that and then I will show you guys the finished product. Alright, so I have filled in all that water now and it's looking very beautiful. I think it really adds to the look of our village and it's going to be quite the feature. Now this is what we're going to build our little village in town around. It's kind of going to be the centerpiece, so I'm going to build basic gardens now, but we might add to them later on, add some more garden decorations like some little pagodas or anything like that, so we'll see how we go. For my pathway, I think I'm going to be going for a pathway block look, so we're going to be keeping it quite natural, kind of in theme with the little starter house we have, so don't worry, I do plan on doing suburban houses and medieval houses and more natural houses, but we're going to be doing the pathways quite natural. I think it'll be quite nice, and I'm trying to show you guys a survival village that's quite, I suppose, basic, so it's something that everyone could do. You can easily grab a shovel and make pathway blocks and then build around that. It's something I really like to do personally, so I think it's a good start for me when starting this series, so we'll see how we go. First things first though, I need to upgrade my sword because there's starting to be a few more mobs around than there used to be, and I'll also get a better pick and a couple of shovels because we're going to be doing all these pathways. Now I'm going to be grabbing a few things so we can start building. So I'm going to grab dirt blocks to fill in that area of land I mentioned that we need to fill in and level out near the end of the river. Also going to start grabbing a few more things that we will need. That's about everything that we could do really, so let's go. So you just want to be grabbing your shovel. Now I think this area here will make for a really good bridge, so I will remove that, but I think just because it's the closest like joining area of the river, it's got this most like narrow area, so I think this will work quite well for a little bridge that we will do later on when we start to join up both sides of the river. So I'm going to start with my pathways now. I'm probably going to make them about 3 blocks wide, and I'm just going to really make a mess out of them. I think the more natural the better. You just want kind of like diagonal joining up to where you want to be going to second bits of land. And we're just going to also replace these sand blocks that we have up here just with dirt ones. I think the ones that are closer around the river are okay, but just up here where we want to be building or our pathways and anything like that, I think it's better to have dirt. So we're going to let that grow into grass and we'll come back to it. We just want to put a pathway block there and join all this up here. And then when you have your walkways, don't be afraid to make them a little bit wonky. I find this can also be quite natural looking and really be effective. Now what I like to do is just make a really basic pathway. I just like to be messy and walk around like so, and it gets a good base, and then you can kind of just like fix it up from where it was. Don't be afraid to go right up to edges or anything like that. It can still look really effective, but I think this is starting to look quite good. Now we're winding it up here as well, and we'll also join it up to a little starter house as well. We'll just remove a fence there and make a little path. Now we'll take this across in a second, but I think this is looking quite good. So I've just gone ahead and quickly did some harvesting of some trees. We're going to be using the oak planks today to make some staircases and slabs, and this will be for doing a little bit of like a trimming gradient detail to the land, which you'll understand in a second when I show you. So I think that's probably all we need for about now. We are going to go over here and grab out our slabs, and this will be our little pathway up, and then we'll go over here and make our staircase again with the slabs. Oh, went too high there. And I think that's just like a really nice natural looking staircase. Staircases don't have to be a staircase. Staircase can be slabs or anything that you really want them to be. You don't even have to have a staircase if you want. I find the slabs though are just a really nice natural gradient way to have a staircase without having that jagged staircase shape, especially when you're trying to build like natural looking pathways. I prefer slabs for that kind of thing. So we're going to continue this probably just to about here, and we're going to focus more on the gardens. I will probably finish up doing a lot of my pathways and the gardening on the other side after the episode, because there's no point in doing an hour of just the same thing over and over. So I'm going to go really into detail on this side, and then the other side we will do later. But now that this grass has grown a little bit, we'll continue along here a bit as well, just a little bit. And I think next episode we might start focusing on doing some farming and some things like that, just because we're really needing to start getting like some resources. We need crops, we need to try and get some pigs, and yeah, I think we might try and go for like wood structures with that. And I might also place a few more torches, or like a fair few more torches. I know it's still not bright enough, but it's a bit brighter than it was before, which is better than nothing. So next episode we'll do a lot more torches, and we might start doing some farming. So we'll need to try and find a farming area. I think maybe near the mine, or maybe on the other side of the river. Maybe this side could be housing and the other side is more like resources, but we'll see how we feel. Now I'm just making a little staircasey pathway down here as well, but the first things first, we're going to start doing that land trimming thing I mentioned. So the way I'm kind of doing this is how I do flower beds. You just want to randomly place these staircases upside down and not upside down, and not completely along the wall. You tend to see in real life as well when people have like retaining walls or anything like that. A lot of the time they are dilapidated in a way, so they're not completely finished. So I've just sped up me placing all of those along the wall, but you can see how it's kind of patchy and not perfect. But the next thing we're going to focus on is the gardening. So the way I'm going to be doing this today is we're going to have the larger blocks against the edge of the land, and then the smaller blocks in front. So you want kind of like the roses, the peonies, the lilacs, and the large ferns in front of the dirt, and then we're going to have the smaller shrubs and things like that just away from it. I've also got some lily pads here that I picked up on the way back from me dying and respawning at spawn, so I'm going to place those, except they were right near here, so we'll collect some of those as well. And this just again adds to the little river we have looking a lot more natural, but we will add more, so don't worry. But we're going to also just grab some more plants now, but we might actually grab some of the ferns. If there's this like spruce biome over here, so we'll go up there and just grab some ferns. Of course we will need to get bone meal, but I've got some of that from picking up skeletons that have died in the daytime. We'll also grab some grass as well. I think a lot of people don't really use grass, but especially when you're in PvE or like survival or anything like that, grass can be a really useful block to have. It can really add to your gardens, and it's universal grass. Oh, there's a creeper, let's go. Okay, this will do for now, but we'll come back to that. I think this is good enough for now anyway. We don't want too many ferns. It's probably like, we've probably got like about 15 now. But anyways, grass is like a really kind of like universal thing, especially when you're playing in survival. It can make a really great shrub. It's something that's really easy to get. There is grass everywhere in Minecraft, so if you're a bit like confused on what you should be using for plants, even grass can make a really great option. Now, my gardens here look a little bit plain just because I don't have that pod soil, so they're not standing out as much as I would like to. Thankfully, we have that spruce biome up there, but I'm going to need to get something with soft touch. So, like I mentioned, we need an enchanting table, so we'll have to look into doing that at some time. Maybe if we come across someone else's settlement and they have an enchanting table, we can borrow theirs until we get our own. We'll see how we go though and how this goes along. But I'm just placing some of the smaller plants now, and also the grass. And I think this is starting to really come together and it's looking quite natural. Something else we might do later on is actually change some of the oak to be spruce, so we have a mix of spruce and oak, and that can also look really effective. I'm also leaving the trees how they are and keeping the vines down, just because I think it's adding like a really nice, kind of like a lush factor to it. So I'm really enjoying it, so I think I will keep it. And the other thing we're also going to be adding is just some crops. So just like at the front of the house, we're going to be adding some carrots and wheat crops, and that will look really nice as well. We could also add some potatoes, and I think I've got some in my chest, so we can probably look into doing that at some time as well. And just these mushrooms that we grabbed on the hill, we just want to put in the really shaded places where they can be placed. Let's see if I can be placed here. There we go. And it just adds more variety. So when you're gardening in survival, just try and use what's around you and what's the easiest. All these plants are around me, thankfully, so it's been quite easy. Normally orchids, the blue ones, are really hard to find, but in these custom biomes in this area, they're growing particularly like a lot, so it worked out quite well for us. But we're going to grab some bone meal for our ferns now. So thankfully I've got a couple of bones, so we've got a little bit of bone meal. So we're just going to grow the ferns that are right against the wall, just again to add that height. Something else I will add as well is I've got a few like saplings from when I've been harvesting the trees, so we're also going to add some saplings. I will need to get some cobweb for that, so I'll probably kill a couple of spiders and do that as well. But we're just going to go around. There's another one there. And I think there was a couple back here. There's one there. And another couple there. But I think this is starting to look really good now, and it's starting to come all together. I might also add some of the spruce leaves. I'll probably go harvest some and then just make some bushes around as well. I would particularly like to do birch though. I find spruce can sometimes be a little bit too dark when you're having very vibrant things, so I would like to find some birch so I can harvest some birch leaves, but I haven't seen any birch around here, so we're gonna have to look for that as well. We'll have to see where we can find it, but for now we'll grab some fence posts, and we might add a couple of extra fence posts as well around the area. But I think that's pretty good for all the gardening. We just want to more focus on doing some crops around the river and that kind of thing. So you just want to grab your hoe, and then we'll grab some buckets as well. Now if you have an area really far away, you could put like a little hole and then just put some water in it there, but you can see it's already like getting moist from the river being right nearby, so that won't be really necessary. But if you do like the look of having the water under your crops, you're always more than welcome to grab some lily pads and just cover them up, or even grabbing like a different kind of like wood or a log, like a dark oak or something like that, and just placing it over the top for just something a little bit different and contrasting to the oak that we've got around our little retaining wall thing. But I just sped up and finished it off. For some reason I lost the last 10 minutes of my recording, I'm not quite sure why, but all I did was add more crops and also the spruce leaves that you can see. So I just made some random bushes, which I've done a lot in a lot of my videos, so that's all I did for some extra detail. But this pretty much finishes off the garden area for what we can do for now. Again, I would like to add podzol, but that's something we're going to have to do later when we have some of the soft touch. But thank you guys so much for watching. Comment down below on any feedback or anything you'd like me to do in this little SMP series. But like always, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you. Bye.